Yeah, sounds good.
Because I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah. So, okay. Anyway, we're live. Nobody's
Yay.
here yet, so it's fine. Just gonna set my phone so I don't have to keep turning my head sideways. Oops, oops, oops.
Now she went outside and closed the door and now she whining. Get the fuck.
Your dog? You can go. You can
Yeah.
go get her if you need to.
I was like, well, girl, she's just outside the door. This is ever not outside.
Like not like actually outside. She's right there.
Ho. Come on. Come on. You coming
It's
too?
so funny.
Okay, bye.
Not okay, bye though.
Because I opened the door to see if he was coming and he just looked at me and walked off. He didn't want to
Poor
come.
babies are funny.
Okay, you done? Okay, come on.
All right, well, I guess we'll start. Hi, this is an episode of All Docked Up.
It
I'm Chris
is.
and that's VJ. Pedro's supposed to be here. I don't know where he's at, so we'll just
Not a
wait
clue.
for him to pop in.
I assume that maybe he's been abducted by aliens.
Okay. I mean, because sometimes it's like he gets the time wrong, and like he even texts us like, "Hey, I'll see you in an hour." So I know it's not that he got the time wrong. So
Confusion, pain. I don't know
it's
what
fine.
it is. Oh, they scored! Hooray! We're also watching football.
See, we are also watching football. Sorry, guys, it's almost over, but everybody's tied. We know the Eagles won earlier. Chiefs and the Bengals are tied, so it's a good game. Okay. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's what everybody else is doing as well, instead of watching this. But if you are, then that's cool too. So we appreciate you.
Yes.
All right. So this was it was like giving blast from the past, girl. Like it made me feel like I was back at home, no bills, you know what I'm saying? Just like up at way too late at night. She used to be on BET for sure. I know she used to be on MTV. She was everywhere. Like where wasn't she? You know what I'm saying?
Valid
Like
point.
Yeah. Hi.
I don't have ghosts, guys. The dog just I have ghosts.
Oh, she keeps looking over her shoulder and shit.
Like I just have dogs and they just keep like wandering out.
But no, we're talking about Miss Cleo.
Yes. So we watched Call Me Miss Cleo. It was on HBO Max. I did not look to see who made it because that's really not important here. It is, but like you also can go watch it and find out yourself. Like you should watch it so you'll know who wrote it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had some good interviews in this. I was surprised to see Raven Simone, who told us on TikTok that her name is not Simone. I was so excited
to see her. It's Simone.
Yeah, like she told us that we've been pronouncing her name wrong. So Miss Simone was there. I think that's crazy.
Well, can we table this for another day? Because you just listen, it's just like Rihanna. If you keep letting us just say your name any fucking kind of way, then that is your name now. Like we're not gonna change it. Like I'm sorry. Like I'm not gonna remember to say Simone unless we are actively talking about how it's changed, or not changed, but not even. We haven't been saying it right.
Well, we can table it, but honestly, my only contribution to that is like Miss Mamas, you were the queen of Disney Channel. Like they had you up there with that imaginary fucking lightsaber with the ears.
Wait. Oh, damn.
Saying your whole name, and you just at any point could have said that is not. You could have said my name is Raven Simone.
And you were you had the power. Channel. You had the power to do that.
And you could have just hit him with
I'm Chris, and this is all docked up.
Yeah, there you go. This is DJ, and this is all docked up. We gotta do a fingerprint.
Oh yeah, fingerprint.
But yeah, I was like, I don't know why she thought that was appropriate information to share after all. Hey,
like it's just like it's too late now. You had your moment. Like I literally grew up and I'm an adult now. I can't
prioritize this for you right now. Like it's
so many other things happening. Sorry,
in
girl.
my
We'll just call you Raven.
I could have done it.
We'll just call you Raven. But I was excited to see her. She was probably some of my favorite parts of the interviews that they would go in and out of.
Also, really glad to see Deborah Wilson. Quite surprised by the way she looked.
Yes. A little startling. It's the droopy earlobes, but it's whatever. Like, live
Her
your life.
earrings were very heavy in her defense.
But okay, let's talk about, before we really get into the documentary, let's just talk about like how Miss Cleo came out of fucking nowhere, and then we like couldn't get rid of her until they got rid of her. Like, she was just so like animated, like, and it was so crazy because like Miss Cleo was not the only psychic network. Didn't Dionne Warwick and her fucking homegirls have a fucking psychic line?
Yeah, it was Dion Psychic Friends.
Dion and
Psychic Friends Network.
Yes, it wasn't her. Dion wasn't the psychic. It was her friend.
Yeah, Dionne Warwick's Psychic Friends Network.
Yes, yes.
So there was,
and you would call.
everywhere. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they would come on and you would call, and then you could ask stuff about like your love life. You could ask stuff about your career, basically about anything. And these people would be on these commercials. And back then they were longer, right? So they were called infomercials. Like, come on, infomercials. My favorite type of commercial.
The best
so they would come on, and they're fucking telling people's fucking futures and like answering questions like, is my husband cheating on me? And she'd be like, hell yeah, girl, like stuff like that. But and so there were other psychic people.
Always yes. If you gotta call the psychic friends, the answer is absolutely yes. Like, you knew before you called.
You don't need to shake an 8-ball for that.
Like, yeah.
Okay. Yes, I think LaToya Jackson also had a psychic network. Like, so many, but that's what I'm saying. It was psychics galore. It was celebrities and a psychic friends galore.
Yeah, and choice of psychics at that point.
You really could. Like, you could go with the white host lady. You can go with Dionne Warwick. You can go with LaToya Jackson. It was just so many fucking options. But somehow Miss Cleo became like that psychic bitch. Yes, girl, we're gonna totally get into that, but that's what would happen. You would call, and I feel like they got away with that shit because like the people that would call these lines, they would get so like into the fucking conversation and what's happening and tell me more, and I don't understand, blah blah blah, that like they don't realize I've been on this phone call for fucking an hour and a half and at $6 a minute. Like,
so we're gonna set the scene for you guys, right? Like, it's 1997, yes. And so so for those of you younger millennial Zoomer babies or whatever y'all are after us, but once upon a time, the internet was in its infancy. So you would like be in a webmaster class, and they would teach you how to like make web pages on GeoCities. Or you would like fake code on MySpace.
Girl, because when I had the hearts dropping, you could not tell me anything. When it was raining hearts and love on my fucking page.
My favorite one is I had one where it was champagne glasses, and then it had little sparkly hearts in the champagne, and they would like flicker and glitter.
Bitch!
Had the little colored boxes on the
Come on,
we were doing it.
Come on, you couldn't tell me a thing.
Dream. But
we really were.
Like, you had dial-up internet. Like, the internet was like, it was a thing, but it wasn't like a thing. Like it is now. In 97, we was watching MTV Spring Break and all wanted to be whatever Ananda, whatever the black lady's name was.
Nanda Lewis, and I always wanted to be on. Come on. Okay, first of all, Jay, so did I, and that's why we're like besties.
I know that's right.
It is always the glitter for me.
And they like everything, and like they had like everybody was watching like comedies. Like, this is when Family Matters and like TGIF was like super popular, and Step Vice. Remember, we were all watching those weird ass white people with 87 stepchildren or whatever.
Who put this family together?
It was just a lot. It was a lot going on, and they had these infomercials, but also the phone was like it. Like, the way you guys use your phone to like watch TikTok and be on like Twitter the way we do now. Imagine that, but
Right.
like you're not scrolling the phone, you're picking it up and calling numbers to find shit out, right?
Yes.
Like we used to,
yes.
guys, gather around. Let me tell you a tale of how we used to call a phone number to find out the time, the temperature, and the weather. And if you wanted to know what movies were playing, you also either
Movie phone.
you called a
Press
fucking,
1 for Babe, Pig in the City.
Press 2 for fear.com.
Girl.
Yo, we were on the phone calling for everything,
bitch. It's 6:26. Like, okay, like, why was there nothing in my house that could tell me that?
Nothing. People were calling a phone number literally to find out the fucking time.
Bing! The time is 6:26.
Yeah, you know what?
Oh yes, yes. Where you'd be like, okay, call me at exactly, and you'd be hella like with the fucking hand on the fucking receiver, so it just make like that one like little all half a. You pick it up. Hello.
That is a wild time, and we don't know how to really. If you weren't there, we can't really.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. We can, like. If we could bring it back, we would bring it back.
But we don't want y'all to have to call for everything. But the point, like, and there was like these good things. We're talking about very wholesome things because you have to keep in mind that like 1997, we were like preteens. Like we were
yes.
very old. So
yes.
we're talking about very wholesome things, but you could call these numbers they had like for sex numbers.
Anything. They still have those.
Right. You talk to women. Hey. Like, they had one where you could meet hot singles in your city.
In your area.
Yeah. It's like those horrible porn ads that you see on your browser now, but it's like over the phone.
Yeah, but a TV commercial. And they would always have like that fucking, they use that what's that fucking lens that makes it look all like smoky and like vintagey? Like, you know what I'm talking about. Yes! Oh my God! Live links! Yes! That's what it's called! Yes!
It was so bad. But you could call for anything.
So good.
Like you could call
anything.
They were selling everything and anything you think that you want. Sex, typewriters, encyclopedias, psychic visions. You could call and they would tell you jokes, which I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Oh my God, a joke. Like, how corny are you that you have to call another nigga for him to tell you a joke?
Yeah, that
so
was
you
wild.
go to other people.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't
realize
that.
It's my cousin. Hi, honey bun.
Hi, cousin.
But yeah, oh my God. Live links, girl. Live links.
That is.
Okay, so yeah, so that's the point that we're trying to get at is literally you can call people for anything. So this is also a time where like was a bunch of fucking psychics and stuff like that. But what made Miss Cleo stand out? Now, I guess we want to start talking about the documentary so we can kind of talk about how Miss Cleo kind of became the host of Psychic Network.
Yeah, so basically she went there. Jay said she called.
Bitch, was it funny though? Like,
do the joke because now I need to know.
Bitch, do you remember the joke that you called?
Because I need to hear it later. Because that
bitch, how much did you pay for that? $5.99. Oh God.
So
Jay, please get back to us.
And she's working behind the scenes, right? She just has like a regular job at this place.
It wasn't funny.
And so she basically has this job. And so they have another black lady who gives me very like Oprah in the 80s vibes. Like Like it's just kind of sitting there, you know, unassuming, kind of weird 90s, like uneven haircut frame, like the Rachel, but for like black women. Like Yeah, just very unassuming, whatever, like friendly, like you're, like whatever. And so they were like, well, she was gonna move on to other shit, whatever psychics do when they decide to quit psychicking on TV.
Not psychicking.
Yeah, whatever they, psychicking.
Right, right.
And so they get a white lady to replace her. And the guy says, quote, she looked like she was straight out of Boca Raton, out of Boca, which he's meaning Boca Raton, Florida. But
Florida,
I just
right.
straight out of Boca because
that's hilarious. But yeah, and she just wasn't giving. Like, there was, like, it wasn't anything like, I don't know. I would assume that when you go to a psychic, like, you want somebody who makes you feel comfortable and kind of makes you feel like, I don't even know how to explain it, because she just, it almost felt like she was reading at people and not for people, if that makes sense.
That, and like, so the thing that they're saying in all of this, right, is that this is a production. It's what they're doing here. So they're having this person read these tarot cards or whatever. And what they basically reveal is that, like, the lady they hired she didn't know anything about tarot. Like, she had a script and she was just reading shit off the script. And it didn't make sense because the people were calling about one thing and she's not really improvising. She's not really like reading anything from the tarot. Like, it just was really bad. Like, she knew what the fuck she was doing. And it just was not connecting with anybody. And they went through a bunch of different people before finally they were like, so Miss Cleo, I guess, was looking at the setup and was like, y'all, this not right. This is
mad corny, and she don't know what the fuck she's doing. And Miss Cleo already worked there as a psychic on the telephone, right? So there were some people before we knew Miss Cleo that had already gotten read by Miss Cleo, which is interesting because then later when she tell you to call her, you're not ever really talking to her no more. Oh, look who fucking decides to show up. Hello.
Did you take a nap?
What's happening? Because you definitely was like, see you in an hour, and then
nigga, so I set an alarm and everything.
He took a nap. Told you.
He took a nap, everybody.
But look though. Took a nap. Somehow this little nigga get locked out. So I wake up to let him in, and that just threw me off. I'm like, yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, we're just kind of still at the beginning a little bit, but we are just talking about how Miss Cleo ends up being the spokesperson for Psychic Network. So Miss Cleo's already working there. Okay, all right. Anyway, so okay, so she's like, okay, look, how about you just fucking, I'm just gonna go and just do my fucking thing, right? I'm gonna do my thug thizzle. Just come over here and y'all can record me. And if y'all like it, y'all like it. If y'all don't, then whatever. I'm gonna go back to my job back here, right? So it was like, cool. And then she gets in front of the camera, right? And we remember the fucking Miss Cleo. I started to be like, should I pull up some of the clips, like, and play one of them? But like, we all were kind of like Miss Cleo's fucking vibes on the fucking TV. Do you remember like a favorite one?
I'm trying to think because there was one that I think showed a clip of in the documentary, the one where the lady called and she was like telling her, I guess if she had some bad people in her life or like a guy in her life, and she was telling her, I don't want you to be around those people. You need to get from around them. They're not good for you. And I just thought, and I always remember like hearing that one and thinking that is so interesting because normally when you call psychics, like you always get the same type of like like it's, oh, well, you're going to have a lot of money, or you're going to have, or a great love is going to come to you. And so it's interesting for her to be, it wasn't happy shit, right? It was like, nah, whatever you got going on, leaving people the fuck alone, it's going to be some bad shit. And I just was like, okay, wow, like that's real. And I think that's what made Miss Cleo so endearing. Is like, it's very much that you called her and she spoke to you. What I guess what Black people refer to as like kitchen table talk.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Yeah. Like you called.
That's a very good way to describe it.
Yeah, like not red table talk, y'all. Like not red table. Like you weren't calling and getting Jada and her mama and the little girl, but like you were getting. You felt like you were having a very real conversation with somebody that gave a fuck about what was going on and was actually trying to give you pertinent advice. Right. It didn't feel like a card reading, like I'm talking at you, like I'm listening and telling you, okay, well, you need to do these things because I care about you. And I think that's what made people want to call. Is he over there burping?
Just right. I'm gonna.
God damn.
I don't know what's happening with him. Okay, but I'm about to pull up a like a little best of really quick. It's like a minute long. Oh wait, sorry.
I think it's on mute.
I won't go. You hear me? If you want him to believe that it's over, then you gotta stop accepting the booty calls at 2 a.m. in the morning. You understand?
Yeah. Could you tell me what type of direction is my life headed into?
Last 4 nights, your feelings have been hurt, so you've been up all night.
Yes.
You haven't been, and this is around a relationship.
Oh, talk about it.
Okay? Don't make me
talk about it.
The ex is much better than the present one. You know, did you think that you were
Black people been the same our whole lives. So.
But you lost it, correct?
Yeah. Back. You don't get it. It was about the baby.
Michael, you really got yourself into trouble on that one, brethren. I got backup this time. This person is that's already right now has been in jail before.
Yeah. The honest truth. Right.
You know, people have been criticized and jabbed at and talked about throughout the ages for having different beliefs. And apparently I am no exception. Although it is a constant challenge, I will continue. I will not allow them to stop me. I will teach as a shaman and help. Though.
Okay, so I just wanted to show that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are like some very good like clips too.
Hey, before we get back rolling, I know at the beginning, I called every single fucking number that showed up in that motherfucking documentary.
And what happened? Did you get anything?
No, all of them. You call them and they all are like, please. What you know the shit when they be like, please stay tuned just in case, or the number you call, the options may have changed. And then like you listening to some lady like, yo, do you have elderly people who need assistance? And then it's like a whole bunch of other shit. But I really was like, yo, why is there 50 different numbers? Like, let's call and see what's up. So
that is a good question. I didn't even fucking realize it. Anyway, so that's what I remember as Miss Cleo. I loved when she used to say niggas used to be in jail. Are we just what's happening? Are you okay? Hello?
I just woke up out of a nap. It just went straight into. You okay?
Hi, family.
Are you all right?
You all right?
Yeah.
You good?
Okay.
Okay. Well, this recording going great. So glad.
I mean, I guess I took a bong hit like a little bit ago, but like that hit different.
It's like if this was a movie, this would be the part where a nigga is all on live. Like, no, can we cut right now? Can we come back?
There's no cutting. We just go with it. Okay.
I just want to make sure you was good. Damn, I just was like, okay. Yeah, Miss Cleo.
So let's get back.
Oh shit, you did smoke without me. My bad. Well, I guess you ain't have no choice. Shit. All right, I'll be back.
Okay. Anyway. Oh shit.
Okay, so yeah, we meet some people that are talking about Miss Cleo, right? And so they have a group of people who are her friends that we he did turn up like a Snapple. Yeah, we meet a few people that were her friends. We meet Patty and Luann and Brian and a host of people. But before we get into it with them, we meet some Black people who aren't famous, who tell us about a time back in the early 90s in Seattle, named Jasmine Scott and Steve Sneed. And they work at the Langston Hughes Performing Arts Center.
What the fuck was up with Steve's head? That nigga had the flattest of flat.
I don't think I paid attention. I was just more concerned at how like what was it, Jasmine? Jasmine was real like She was real snarky still. Like she's still like she's upset a little bit.
Jasmine was real matter of fact.
This is what happens here, honey.
Yeah, hey, two blunts in the bottle, baby. Come on.
Yeah, Jasmine was like very whatever, and that's what I was gonna say. Like the dichotomy between them sitting with Jasmine and with like Steven were very different, right? Because Jasmine seemed like she was still a little pissed off. And then Steve was like, hey man.
Steve was like, I don't really know the girl. Like, she came here, she did some shit, she left.
She made some dope ass plays, man. And I watched them, and then hell, I looked up and she was gone. And that was good.
Steve looked like, oh, y'all paying me for this documentary? Shit, y'all sit down. I'll sit down. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? She came, she saw, you know what I'm saying? Like, she scammed.
Like, they showed up and was asking questions, and Steve walked by, and they was like, did you know Miss Cleo? Like, okay. Like,
I mean,
the typical black person response. Yeah, I guess why. Like,
why? Like,
I guess why. Like, I need to know why you want to know what I know first before I tell you anything.
Exactly, for real.
So basically, they say that they knew her as Ray. Because her name is Uray.
Uray, right.
Uray Del Cleo Millie?
No, well, the name they knew the name they knew was Uray Harris.
Yes, Uray Harris, which is her first and last name. All the other shit is just in the middle.
Middle, yeah. So they knew her as Ray, and they said that she was just an actor. She didn't have the accent. And that Miss Cleo originally started as a character in a play that she was developing to put on there. And that never happened. Because the way they explain is the way it works is like if you're the director or the person putting on the play, they pay you a lump sum. It is up to you to then disperse that lump sum to anyone that you have offered payment to. So actors, people that are creating the stage, whatever. Like you're supposed to pay them. He took the money and ain't paid nobody, is what they're saying.
She did not pay anyone, is what they are saying. So we would use that wonderful word, allegedly.
Yeah, again, I don't know. There was
very elementary, my guy.
It's elementary, Watson.
There were no court filings, and here we all about it. You innocent as until even if they prove you guilty, you can still be innocent. That's when you and the lawyer that you need to get before you answer any of the police's questions.
For real.
As always, we're always going to advocate. Don't tell the police shit. So there was no court documents filed. So allegedly. So they said something to the effect of they basically she kept saying that it looks fetching.
My good sir.
My good sir.
You get that type, good sir. Did you pull up in your motor car earlier?
Would you happen to have any Grey Poupon?
Get out the Pepperidge Farm Milano.
Could you pass the banana oil fruit?
Please.
Yo, listen. Yo.
We were doing so much better before you got here.
If you're watching this and you don't know what banana oil fruit or Pepperidge Farm is, then get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
All right. My bad.
They said that I guess they're alleging that she said that she had cancer or she was sick or something, and that's why she didn't do what she was supposed to do. And it was very much giving that Benny nigga that was like scamming on Twitter with the hair and the fake daughter, and then he got the snake bite, and then said that he was dying in the hospital. If you don't know about that scam, we'll have to talk about it. That's a story for a different day because that was wild.
It is.
Never mind. I was about to say something real petty. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, just don't do it.
Hey, I'll just say this. You called me about it. Remember the morning you called me?
Oh.
Who you pointing to? VJ?
For me. Wait, well, there we go. Yeah. Ew, that looked
that
good.
way.
There we go. I hate this camera.
What happened was I called him because I was very mad because somebody was playing in my face, but they had cancer.
No.
I told you about that too. Yeah, somebody was telling me they had cancer, and it was
not that one. not that one. Remember you called me and you was like, yo, somebody you know just got played by this scam, and I was like, I don't want to talk about this. Oh yeah, it's only funny to me. That's fine. That's fine.
I don't know what to say. Okay, so back to Miss Cleo.
Okay,
so her first infomercial, she killed it, and basically, we were talking about when she was with Langston Hughes. Sorry.
Okay, no,
they let like it's cool. That was over. That was their little part there. Jasmine was real mad and salty. It seemed like they wasn't doing her plays, and she was mad.
I couldn't put my finger on like why she felt like she was so like she just kept saying like really like snide things about.
I mean, but if Slim ran off with the bread, yo, come on.
But it wasn't her bread.
But it was the bread she was supposed to get paid.
See, and she didn't say she didn't get paid. She said that
I don't think it was her money.
But Sam Snead said, Sam Snead. See, that's why I think that's the rapper.
Ain't that the nigga from Death Row or some shit?
Yeah, remember the nigga he got kicked off the label because he ain't had no West Coast niggas in his one video. That nigga Suge was horrible, bro. Anyway.
Okay.
Steve Snead said that they did the play for women only, and that, like you said, like you alluded to earlier, we're not alluded to VJ, but that, like you said earlier, that's where the Cleo character came from. But somehow she worked her way up, and she was the person who got the bag from whoever the fuck was paying them, and she never paid none of the other actors in the show.
Right, but what we saying is we don't know that Jasmine was one of those people. I think she just got attitude.
You're right. You're right.
Like,
that's
she ain't never say she was acting.
Like, she would have been old enough to be in that play. You're right.
It was just weird. Like, she was real mad, and it was like, okay. So fast forward a little, 2001. So Miss Cleo is a part of this company, and it's called PRN, or Psychic Readers Network. I don't remember ever like, I guess, paying attention to these infomercials enough to know that it was like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just Miss Cleo.
Right. I just was like, you call me now. Call me now.
Call me now.
Who's that first black chick? Not Dionne Warwick, of course. Not the queen. But remember that black chick that was like, we already had a host. And that chick used to be on like different sitcoms and shit and everything.
I don't remember her. I saw her.
But I also but they didn't the clip they showed of her was so short, like it was hard to really tell who she was.
Yeah.
It was her, and then the one dude, the like light skinned, big Jamaican looking dude with the dreads.
With the dreads, and I'm like, oh, I know
him. I remember him. Yes,
he was an actor.
He was an actor. Oh. But that's what they were saying.
See, but then that kind of proves that these niggas was not.
Yeah, they were paid actors in the commercial. And so basically we meet a group of people who worked for PRN. Julie, Barbara, Eileen, and Ramon, who is a Jamaican man. And then the other man whose name I didn't get, I don't think. The white man who had the one
who only worked there for a summer.
Yeah, and he was Suzanne. As he
yes.
impersonated a white Southern woman because he felt like people connected to that better.
At 15 years old.
Right. So Cleo was saying that she didn't even want to say so do I go ahead and say the thing or?
I mean, yeah, I guess so, because it'll help to just kind of make the story go. So
okay, so for context, for those of you who don't know, Miss Cleo is no longer with us. She passed away in 2016. So we are getting clips interspersed here from a documentary that was made in 2012 called Hotline, which I don't ever remember seeing this. I don't know if it got postponed and never came out, not sure. But she sat and was interviewed for this documentary. So when we're seeing her speak in this documentary, it is not present day. And the reason that we're not getting live interviews with her is because she's passed. So so people are aware that that's kind of why we're not talking about.
Because I definitely feel like that if she was alive, she definitely would have did this.
Right. She would have been
I think she would have been okay to talk. Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if that's a spoiler.
Sorry, we broke the news.
Like, I don't know if that's really a spoiler, if it just kind of was necessary for the way the documentary was put together, because they're talking about her in past tense. So you kind of get the vibe that she's not. Yeah.
That's our chance to say. That's our chance to be dickheads and be like, if you knew your black culture, you'd already know that Miss Cleo was passed.
Well, I don't know if that's okay.
Oh no,
I
that's
don't
not the
know
truth.
because
That's not true at all. You should. You
no.
should.
I was gonna say, I don't know
being
because
black. But I'm just saying because we hosted this show, we can make that shit up. I'm just saying.
you're so stupid.
Yeah, so she was saying she didn't even want to say that part about call me now because she knew that when people called, they wouldn't be talking to her.
They weren't calling her, and
So
that
they-
was the thing. Like the calling me now, like that was the thing that was like, oh, let me call this bitch and see what's up. Like,
right, but
Real
she was
shit.
contractually obligated to say that because she didn't want to say it because she said, okay, well, they're not calling me. They're calling and they're talking to whoever else because after she did the infomercial and they made all that money, she stopped taking calls. She said she took calls for what, another 6 months?
Something like that, yeah.
And then she didn't even take calls anymore.
right.
And she couldn't, but remember, she couldn't take calls due to the fact that that's when she broke down the money. And the money they was giving her for being the spokesperson of Psychic Network was killing. Remember, she said the people got paid 12 to 24 cents an hour. I mean, no, a minute. No. What was it? 12 to 24 cents a minute. And they was charging 5 cents a minute. Because remember, the one dude was like, I was on the phone for like 100 minutes. Dude got paid $24 to keep somebody on the phone.
That's
So that's
not a lot.
That's when she stopped taking phone calls because the money she getting to be the spokesperson, like, Slim, you're not about to expect me to sit on this phone for 12 cents a minute. You got me fucked up.
Right.
When they're charging upwards to like I think up to $6 a minute.
Yeah. So for, like the one
insane.
dude, that's what they were saying. One dude was a $500 phone call, but whoever talked to him only got paid 24 of those $500. Like you got to be
wild.
You tripping? So
that's wild.
Yeah, but that is.
Yeah, it's not gonna work for me.
Yeah, that's
I have to give niggas my personal cell phone number. Like, call me later. Like,
watch your voice
cash
change.
app.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about that.
Just call this number.
So essentially, they're making like a 4% commission on these calls, give or take.
Right. Right.
So basically the way it worked is that they would call in for work, right? They would dial into whatever number and that would say that they were logged into the network and they were ready for work. And they would hang up and then people would be routed to them for these calls, for the readings. And so the first 3 minutes were free, but they were instructed to try to keep people on the phone for as long as they could because after the first 3 minutes, it was like $4.99 a minute.
And they basically spent those three free minutes doing stuff like getting your name, getting your phone number or your callback number, the address, like getting all this information to eventually sell it to other people.
That and then they would use it to basically send you prepaid ads being like, hey, you haven't called us in a while.
Right.
And as we'll learn much later for a completely different purpose.
Different reason. Yes.
That's going to get them into some trouble.
Yo, any of y'all ever worked in a call center?
Yeah.
Remember the thing that threw me is when Buddy was like, when old girl was like, your calls is supposed to average 18 minutes or more. Nigga, anybody that's ever worked in a call center,
that's too long.
Your handle time is like 3:45, Slim. Or
I'm trying to think, like, even when I did tech support, I feel like they wanted us to keep that shit under like 15.
Tech support, I think. Well, with AT&T, I think tech support had 12 minutes, but like regular niggas, 3:45, 4 minutes tops. You 4 minutes, nigga, we putting you on the what's that shit called? The probation bro. Like stop playing. So they was like 18 minutes or more. That's how you knew they was just in it for the gas. Like and
that's crazy.
They had the first recession-proof job. They was already working from the crib, chilling.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll take this moment because we have a lady who is with us, and I forget the black woman's name, who is there kind of and talks to kind of like Jamaican culture and other things.
Yes.
I forget her name.
To say, but yeah, go ahead.
But basically, she was having a conversation about how Black people very much knew that the accent was fake and that Miss Cleo was not from Jamaica, and that white people, or it seemed other people for some reason, could not ascertain that. And to me, it was very funny because I think it's also one of those things where we talk about like mixed Black people or Black people that you didn't know were Black. And it's very surprising to me how many, like, those articles are written for white people, right? Like,
right.
Black people know when we, for the most part, we know when we're looking at other Black people. I don't care if it's a drop of Black. We know somebody in your family is Black. We can
Big
tell.
facts. Big facts.
So it was just interesting to me that when, in terms of this documentary, when we're having people talk about Cleo, all of the people in her personal life are white people.
Are white people.
And then we're only having
Damn.
this conversation about these two.
You didn't really realize that?
Nah, because real shit. Because the only black people they talking to is Deborah Wilson, Raven Simone, the black chick y'all talking about, and then the one dude that worked with her, but that is a coworker. Like that,
and,
you're right.
And he's not her coworker because he never met her.
They just worked on the same network, right? Yeah,
he just worked at Psychic Readers Network from his house. Like he had no clue.
You right.
He never met Miss Cleo in his life. So I just thought it was interesting that all the people who sit down and talk about her personal life are white people.
Real facts.
And then you hear them talking about her, which granted they all have nice things to say, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you're a nice person, right? But I think it's just interesting that a lot of them were like, well, it really wasn't my place to to try to make it, to find out where she was from or whether or not she was Jamaican or not Jamaican. It was very like they didn't know, and they weren't really trying to find out. And like the Jasmine lady was saying, black people are very much more, I guess, maybe gatekeepers to some extent of our culture, especially with other black people. And it's like, okay, no, that's not.
But I think if you go back to those days, with this being the time before having access to everybody, that the whole thing that they was talking about, like you said, where a lot of people had the perception and the misconception of Mammy being who like a lot of our black women were. When you can't get to people, you got to think, for one, when you find out where she's from, and then two, when you find out where they working from. It's like, think about where we from. Do you think about, y'all ain't never noticed that as your life goes on, people be so fucking amazed about, oh, that really happens in the Midwest, and it's like, nigga, we just regular people. But you have to think, we boxed in. Everybody else got water. They on the coast, they in the South, whatever. Like, where you done moved to the South, you done moved to the West Coast, I done moved to the East Coast. We see now how other people live. But it used to throw me off that people didn't, everybody would think that the Midwest really was that white part of the Midwest. So they didn't understand black people from Montana. So I honestly believe that her being from where she was from, and it's easy for us to keep secrets. And then especially back in them days, it was easy for anybody to keep secrets. So I honestly think that's what that was about.
And I think that the lady brings up a valid point, right? Like we get this idea of a mammy character, or what I like to call the magical Negro trope, right? Like white people don't have any frame of reference for black people. And so they see a warm, welcoming lady with a big bosom that they can hug and lay their head on and cry on her tits or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is, right?
That's really what it is. Yeah.
I mean, and then think about like even my own interactions with white people, because I'm not old, right? Like I'm not some old, wise white like black lady, but then you will like, I have like had white coworkers or white people be like, you're just so easy to talk to, and they're just very like, and you're like, ugh, like,
yeah, right. It's programming them that black women are their go-to. You know what I mean? Like
they're sidekicks. Like I'm here to offer you witty banter and advice. But I can't fly too high. Like I can't be better than you, but I can offer you witty advice and a shoulder to cry on and a snazzy platitude, right?
And like, that whole thing too about that old bullshit narrative that y'all like physically are stronger. That's why y'all can take more pain. It's also been taught to white people that emotionally y'all are the strongest thing that God has ever put on earth. So everybody can come to the black woman and bear their emotional pain on the black woman. So yeah, motherfuckers will come up to y'all and just really be like, hey,
get somebody else to do that.
Get somebody else to do it.
123, the word is no. You are not anybody's emotional workhorse. We are not fucking intelligent and emotional labor for motherfuckers. Just say no. You don't have to do it. You don't gotta do their work. You don't gotta cover their shift. No. The answer is no. The answer is always no.
You ain't gotta give an excuse why it's no.
No, thank you.
You can tell if you won't, but right. Yo, be like, no. Why? Because no. Why? Because it's spelled into the motherfucking, oh, bitch, I don't owe you no excuse.
I'm not doing it. Right. So.
But I feel like that's why you know.
That's yes, it's this whole trope of like uneducated black woman, and she's straight out of the whatever. I've never been to Jamaica, so I'm not gonna say the wilds of Jamaica, but you know what I mean. They try to make it seem like she was straight out the Amazon, like Jamaica is like the woods or something, and she's been living in a fucking cave raised by wolves and popped out of a coconut and showed and washed up on the beach to cut in Florida to fucking give tarot
Like she came
cards
out of a fucking she was born of a ganja leaf and shit.
Yeah,
Right.
like, yeah, real crazy, like real crazy ass, mystical ass bullshit. Like she simply just appeared as a being on the beach or something.
Like she came out of that globe she was looking into. Like somebody was
tarot
just like,
cards.
Did you guys hear that? Call me now. Call me now. Call me now.
Like she
Call me
formed
now.
from
It just
weed, like,
came up.
she simply formed from weed smoke. She was an apparition and
Yes,
formed into like
because
a
she
person.
from Jamaica. Yes.
Yeah, like just crazy shit. So they start to hear these rumors, right? That the PRN is in trouble, right? Like that they're getting sued. And so they call in for work and they're having to listen to this pre-recorded message from the president basically saying,
no matter what they tell you.
Cleo got that gift.
Right.
Yeah. Cleo is a beautiful, special person who is really reading the shit out of these tarot cards. We know you're not, and that's cool. She's great. You keep doing what you're doing.
These cards to filth. Right.
She reading the cards for filth. I know you don't know what you're doing. You don't gotta read none. You read the script I gave you, but you keep working. 18 minutes or more on the calls. Chop chop. Thank you so much. Love you.
Sushi on us. Go team.
Yep. Get to work. Love you so
See y'all
much.
later. Right. Okay. And they have to listen to that shit every day. So that if that's not a sign that some shit is going awry, I don't know what is.
Right. So we get the kind of Deborah and Raven who are there and they're having these conversations, right? And they're talking about why people are able to be scammed, right? And this idea that some people are more susceptible than others because they kind of have this need to be seen and heard and have an outlet. And so when someone latches on to that, because I do like, so here's the thing, like Raven Simone and all her weirdness makes very like, I really liked her as an interview in this because
she was great as an interviewee.
She was very real and very honest about all of the things going on and how they intersect. And I think that is probably the most real I have seen her be in a long time in an interview.
Yeah, facts.
Like that, it was real. Like guys, if you don't watch it for shit else, watch it for that because she makes some very salient points here. I was surprised.
She makes you like her again.
Won.
Huh?
I mean, I never stopped liking
the Chiefs
her.
just won.
Yeah.
They got 3 seconds left on the clock, and they just gotta.
The Chiefs just won.
Yep.
I mean, they just got a 3 point.
God damn, Joe.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, go Eagles.
Okay. Yeah. So. I guess this is my moment. Because I didn't ask this before, but I wanted to ask, like, so are the two of you believe in like psychics? Like, and not even necessarily psychics, but do you believe that there are certain people who are more in tune with like, I guess, like energy and auras and that type of thing?
Yep. 100%. I was raised with that shit, so I believe it.
I just was curious because I think. Because like they were like, because I think it's one of those things, right? Because they like Raven Simone was like, you know, you're big when everybody starts making fun of you, right? Like everybody was making these Cleo jokes or whatever, and why would you call in and you know that's fake or whatever? But I think for a lot of people, that is very real, right? And I think that's the interesting part of this. Nobody here is sitting here saying that they don't believe Miss Cleo had a gift, right? Like nobody here is saying she was a fraud,
right? just the psychic network was fraud.
So they get sued by the state of Florida. So despite what the president is saying to these people, they get sued by the state of Florida.
Yes. For deceptive advertising.
They were also
and let me just ask a question just to understand like the specifics of what that means, right? So they're being sued because the people on the phone were not who were answering the calls were not psychics, right?
Even though it said
because my question is, how do you tell if somebody's a psychic or not?
Yeah, so I think it is a bevy of things. So they are saying one that the deceptive advertising is that you're calling in, you're having a woman say, "You call and you will speak to me," right? She's not even a person that you can speak to at this point. Like you're not ever going to be able to speak to Miss Cleo. You're always going to get somebody else for one.
Right.
Her psychic friends.
Right. But she's not even billing these people as psychic friends, right? Like she's just saying, call me now.
Hey, yo, right. Because they never got Dion for that. And that's definitely what Dion said.
Yeah, because Dion said, "Child, I'm not picking up this phone, but I got some friends that might."
Right. So Miss Cleo was their spokesperson, but the way that the state of Florida framed it was deceptive because they put on the infomercial for entertainment purposes only, but they felt like that saying that kept them from being sued. Because
it was like a blanket statement to be like, we just playing.
It doesn't matter that we said we're real psychics. I know we said we were real psychics, but this is also jokes.
I'm joking.
Yeah,
JK.
But I'm kidding. But also still
call me. Yeah. But JK.
But wink. Miss Cleo's definitely going to answer your questions, but also, Miss Cleo's going to answer your questions. Wink, wink. And they even tell us, right? The guy that did it for a summer was like, yeah, when we had a script, and when people would call in and ask for Miss Cleo, they were told to put down the phone and just walk around and call out Miss Cleo to waste time until they came back and was like, oh, she's not here.
She's already on the phone.
Oh, she's on the other.
She went to lunch.
She's at lunch, or she's with a reading or whatever.
We outside, homeboy. You goddamn right.
And it just was, it's like that was crazy. So, and then when you think about it, you have people that called in, right? They're looking for Miss Cleo. They tell them the first 3 minutes are free. You ask for Miss Cleo, they sit the phone down, walk around for 3 minutes,
maybe 2:45.
2:45 seconds, come back and say, oh, I'm so sorry. Miss Cleo's not here, but you can speak.
But yo, they was working from home. Niggas working from the crib. You mean to tell me ain't nobody can you imagine somebody be like, yo, can I speak to Miss Cleo? You hear a motherfucker opening doors and closing cabinets and shit. Somebody's just like, like, Jerome, what the fuck are you doing? Like, stop coming in my room, nigga.
Yes. Girl. Oh, he's hella cheating on you.
Garbage disposal's going on and shit.
In the kitchen, fucking boiling their ramen, cup of noodles and shit.
Yes, all of that. Here, I have a question for y'all. If you guys were looking for a new job and wanted something easy and at home, would you have taken this job?
Yes.
I would. Wait. Tom, I need clarification. Are we talking about us now or us as preteens when we saw Miss Cleo?
No, because I don't feel like I thought that I could do that job when I saw her. I'm
talking about now.
Like it's an adult job, like right now. Like if the pay was decent.
The Penrose I am right now.
Yeah, like if you could get the same money.
Sign me the fuck up. As long as they paying for it.
I'm gonna put a scarf on and everything when I answer the phone. Like
I would have no problem with that. I'm be real honest with you. And I say that because I think that if you have ever worked in customer service or sales and you are decent at it or very good at it, or very good at just being an adept listener or being able to read people, it is a very good job, right? And these people went into this job with no training. And I don't think they necessarily should have been doing it because some of them were saying shit like they found the job in the newspaper and just did it because they needed money. Or they started out trying to get on like a sex line, but then only didn't last very long because a lot of the calls are very disturbing.
Right.
But as an adult now, I absolutely would sign
boom,
up for that.
Get that. Exactly.
And I think it's a very certain personality that does well in that type of environment. But I think the three of us would. Like people that do podcasts to some extent like to hear themselves talk, right? Like
right.
Do you know me?
We also like listening to other people. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I think we could we could do that shit. All docked up psychic friends. Let's get it.
Listen, anybody ever worked for AT&T? If you ever worked for AT&T between 2008 and 2012, shout out to the boot lady. Because of what you just said. There was a chick named the boot lady that used to call in, and if you was a chick, she started asking you like, yo, what kind of shoes you got on? Do your feet smell today? What kind of socks do you wear? And if you was a dude, she would ask you about your girlfriend's shoes, and it wasn't a she. I'm trying to be politically correct. Back in them days, I said a lot of different shit, but it was a transgender woman, and the motherfucker would, So
she would call get information about shoes.
So I worked at AT&T. So motherfuckers is turning on and helping people with cell phones. So it's, hey, thanks for calling AT&T, and this person come on the phone and be like, so what kind of shoes are you wearing?
But she was using, she was using she was using AT&T's call center basically as like a free sex line. Like, I'm calling to hear about boots and shoes in a sexual way. Like, I want to know about shoes and boots.
Right. She will.
I mean, I had a heavy breather on a couple of calls when I worked for tech support for DirecTV.
Yeah. Her account got flagged at some point because it was like she wasn't, and it was Florida. So in those days and those times, she legally wasn't doing shit sexually wrong as the shit would be considered now. And so you had to say, you couldn't just hang up on her. So
it was more like a prank call.
Yeah, but if you was a dude, 9 times out of 10, she'd hang up on you and she keep calling back till she got a girl. And I think it was funny shit she was saying, but I think if you're a woman and you hear that shit, it was probably a little disturbing. You know what I'm saying?
Like, no, bitch, my feet don't stink.
Right. For me, I'm like, but in
the what?
Right. In the essence of you asking about could a nigga do that or not, like that shit just came up in my head because it would be some weird shit that happened on the phones.
Yeah.
So this suit, right? So deceptive advertising. They also get charged because they are billing people who never made calls to them.
Fact.
Okay, I just want to make one single note that I think that is important. So remember how we told you guys that the state of Florida is suing them? I want y'all to keep in mind that that's not the only people that have complaints. This is the only case that actually names Miss Cleo in it. And so that's why it gets the attention that it gets. That's why it picks up so much steam, right?
Yeah,
so I just want to make sure that everybody knows that there are complaints all the fuck over.
But everybody else
this is a nationwide network. Right. The FTC gets involved and they realize the Federal Trade Commission, but they realize that this is a nationwide, not Ponzi scheme, but a whole network of people working from home pretending to be fake psychics, right?
Right.
So what makes the Florida case different, as Chris pointed out, is that they name the 2 owners of the company, but they also name Miss Cleo as a co-defendant in this suit.
Right. Because of one piece of paper, though.
Right. So the issue with the other suits in all the other states and why they didn't go anywhere, why they didn't really catch traction, is because they were just suing 2 white guys that own PRN. They weren't suing.
They're gonna settle out of court with that one.
Right. They were just suing Miss Cleo.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think this is just kind of interesting on Florida's part. Some of this feels
very
anti-black, racist.
Yeah.
Because
irresponsible. Something that you could probably get disbarred for. Like so many things. Because I've never been to law school. I don't purport myself to be an expert in law, but you would have to be a motherfucking fool to believe that a lady who is on a commercial is running. Like, why would you sue her? Because, and I thought it was interesting, right? Nobody sued Dionne Warwick. Nobody sued LaToya Jackson.
Well, remember, they said that it was the people, when the people went to sue, they could only sue PRN. And it was one complaint out of all those millions of complaints. The only reason they was able to attach her is because that one time she signed her name back to a response to a complaint.
Well, she didn't, and that's the thing is she did not. They were forging her signature.
Right, forging her signature. So right.
What was happening is that these people were getting billed for calls they didn't make, and then there would be people that were being harassed for like amounts of money that they were saying they were owed and they weren't necessarily owed. And so they thought that by saying that the letter was coming directly from fucking Miss Cleo, that would light a fire up under some people, I think.
They would scare
them.
Like, so basically,
oh shit, this fucking magical Negro is on my ass about this.
Right. So basically, in specific states, it is illegal. Well, it is technically illegal for you to send people money letters. Basically, you can't send someone a collection demand saying that you're going to take legal action when they actually don't owe you any money. That's clearly illegal. It's fraud, right? So that is the third piece of this, right? They were fraud, but that is why Florida was able to name her in the suit, because they had pieces of paper that were sent out as collection letters with her forged signature on them. Now, why they did not think to make sure that these were actually legitimately her signature, I will never know. Again, anti-black, bad lawyering, racist, like whatever I'm so sorry if you don't think it is, but
that's exactly what it is.
There is no way in hell.
Exactly what it is.
Like, there is no way in fuck that some white man would sign, they would pull some papers and just be like, we just gonna go off the strength of these papers and not check it against any other known signature and then make that person a defendant in a lawsuit again. Right. Like, that's crazy. Yeah,
Big
so
facts.
they start digging into her shit, and we hear this conversation, right, where they tell us about Miss Cleo's upbringing and how she says that she was brought to Jamaica and adopted by a family so they could give her a good education and a home in America. And the lady did, and the people that adopted her didn't really want her. She felt kind of ostracized and out of place at her all girls school. She
And
was
then it was like 8 or 9 of them, and she would remember she told the story that the woman didn't want a girl, but she just did it because she promised her mother and all of this other sob story shit.
Yeah, she says that she was sexually assaulted by a family friend. I'm so sorry I did not give a trigger warning at the top of this, so we're going to briefly mention that, and that will be the end of it. It does not go into any great
Right.
detail about this because, as they mentioned about Miss Cleo, she's very much still an enigma, right? They did not flesh out any background about her. This lawsuit really is the only
At
thing
all.
that gets kind of close to kind of any
Like,
information. So the
yeah.
lawyer tells us that he was able to find a birth certificate for her in Los Angeles, which kind of leads us to believe that either one, the birth certificate is forged, or two, she was just born in LA. Whichever version of that you want to believe, it really was, inconsequential to me in the whole of things. But
I mean, yeah, but it like when her lawyer was that only funny to me when her lawyer was on TV, and it was like, is she from Jamaica? And he was like, she's from Jamaica as much as anybody
any person
would say.
who connects to Jamaican culture and say they from Jamaica.
so Jamaica fishing, I
Right.
don't.
Bumba clock fishing.
The originator.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know, right? Because we talk about blackface and like people that wanted just like that white man that decided he wanted to be Korean, so he just identified as like a Korean person, or like when Stefani came out and said she was Japanese.
What
She
about
was
the white lady
Japanese.
that tattooed her skin? Did y'all see that lady?
Yeah, the one that tattooed herself black and had the big ass pink lips.
And
the Russian lady. So I mean, like she considering some shit that's going on now, like is being black and claiming to be Jamaican the worst thing.
Like now, I think too. You know what? I think one of the biggest reasons that is a thing is just like earlier when we talked about that it was easier for white people to accept her because of boxes. Exactly, we talked about that on our show. On Protest and Riot, a lot of people want to stay inside boxes, whatever box you put yourself in. So,
yeah,
it's like earlier when we talked about how to white America it was easier for them to accept that, you know what I mean, she was Jamaican because again you couldn't get to, you really didn't know black people. I think for us when it all came down, and that's why it was easier for us to be like, the fuck, because as when you black, like Jamaicans didn't want to accept the thing about being black. And I had a conversation about this. We don't shit on each other for the most part about being black. But wherever you're from, again, we're from the Midwest. You can't tell us that's not the best part about being black. Like, we come from the best black area. All black people think the same. So Jamaicans was like, bitch.
How dare you appropriate us? You're not from here.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like with her doing that, that's like when it all, well, in the essence of what we're talking about now, coming to the end and all of that, I think that's why it was more like they tried to use that part to, you know what I mean, to further their case or whatnot. But go ahead.
Yo, they were giving me like memories of when niggas was looking for Obama's birth certificate. Like those are the vibes that I was getting.
Yeah,
Word.
what and I guess again that's why I said a lot of this just feels really fucked up, because really what was the point? Like you are trying to prove a case of fraud at a company. Like what does that have to do with like where she's born? Like does it make it more fraud or less fraud if she was like it doesn't, like
right.
Like, it's so weird.
Right.
Like so basically the guy from the FTC was like, we sat with her and the fucking lawyer said the same thing. We had to, we dismissed her as a plaintiff in the case, or a defendant in this case, because we didn't have any proof that she did anything wrong. In fact, she wasn't in charge of anything. She was just the spokesperson for a company. And that's what I didn't get. Like, I was so confused about how they did not.
How she even...
I get they had a piece of paper with her name on it, but like, let be fucking for real. Like,
but also you don't get
real.
But
You
you
have
don't
been
get
a
any.
lawyer for how long?
Now think about it though. Now, as a matter of fact, we didn't watch this together, but just in essence of what we're talking about. I watched Killer Sally the other day, and they were talking about how back in those days that when they would report on women, that they were told to villainize women as much as possible. So I think it's the same era. It was what 5 years later, but that same 90s era in relation to Miss Cleo. And you again, the same woman that made you accept, the mammy type woman that made you accept. That's the same reason why you're not going to villainize this woman. And so that case it's still gonna, again, everybody else settled out of court. The Florida case, it got traction because now you can get TV ratings out of this shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
In essence of you saying why go after this woman, because you're right. At the end of the day, they dismissed it because she's just a spokesperson. But I think in the beginning of it, it's like, if we can try to make this bigger, and I mean, I'm going to put this on the law and white people. Like, if you can try to get more money out of it by hurting a black woman, they're going to do it. And I think that shit got on TV. We didn't know shit about nobody else getting sued.
No, it was just Miss Cleo. It was always Miss Cleo's getting sued. Miss Cleo's getting sued.
Like, we didn't know that the company was getting sued. It literally just looked like somebody was suing Miss Cleo.
They made it sound like Miss Cleo owned like, that's what I'm saying. They made it sound like Miss Cleo owned the company. It was all hers. She was like, they made it seem like she was fucking flipping tarot cards at night, taking a nap, going to sleep, getting 5 or 6 hours, getting up at 7 or 8 a.m., taking a shower, getting her some cereal and coffee, and then fucking popping open QuickBooks to do her taxes and send out invoices. Like, they made it sound like, they really made it sound like this lady was like full stop shop, like I be doing, making cups at night and then get up the next morning and have, like, she made it seem like it was doing everything. Like, she was unwrapping that motherfucking turban in the morning, slapping on her glasses and being like, did I itemize my tarot cards? I got 5 new decks today. Like, right. And it's simply not what happened, right? Like, that's not what was going on. Like, this lady had no knowledge of any business practices these people had. Basically, the way they made it sound,
they just chose to villainize the black woman.
That lady was like, they was all getting fucking like, they was all independent contractors. They had a lady in a 360 deal. Like,
bro.
They didn't know she didn't know her name.
I didn't even know she had like I didn't even know she had a board game, like
tarot card. Like, they Bob Ross the shit out that lady.
Girl, I'm so glad that you said that, because that's exactly what I thought about. I think about Bob Ross so often, y'all. But like, for real,
I be wanting to buy shit, and I'm like, I can't buy there.
Yo, what was that?
I can't.
Who was that? Which one of y'all put that shit in the group chat? That was you? Seen some shit out there, and I'm like, yo, real shit.
I can't do it. But like, I can't do that. Not yet. Not until the Ross family gets it back. Yeah, she gotta go. But no, I got the same vibes. I'm like, damn, like, you're literally on a fucking board game. Like, your fucking face is everywhere. You're on Oprah. You're on fucking Jenny Jones. Like, why are you not like?
And she did not, and we're saying this, like, she does not own her face or her likeness or Miss Cleo.
None of that.
She's not none of that. So basically, the people own this. And I say all that to say, basically, like, if that lady had decided she wanted to part ways with them, like, she could not go back on television and say that she was Miss Cleo.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, she would have to go back on there and talk to y'all in like a Scottish accent and call herself Ree again, or Ray or whatever. She would have to be Miss Ray and talk to y'all in some other accent.
It's the whole Prince
somebody
thing.
Somebody has the Miss Cleo tarot deck for $15 on Etsy.
I mean, I'm down. Send me the link. Sign up.
But yeah, that's just, yeah. So like, she couldn't even like go, like, even if she wanted to be like, this is fucked up, because right, the white man was like, well, she has some moral obligation here. She can have all the moral obligation she wants to. It doesn't make it illegal, pal. And you fucking knew that before you filed that goddamn paperwork.
Real shit.
So fuck you, honestly. But whatever.
Exactly.
Hey, y'all want the Miss Cleo board game for Christmas?
No.
I mean,
I'm gonna go with no. I will take the tarot deck, but I don't want no.
Yeah, no, the tarot deck is pretty dope.
I think we should randomly for Christmas, or everybody's birthday. What, Chris' birthday first, right? Yeah, I think we should all just randomly get each other a Miss Cleo item.
Since we can't have no Bob
The
Ross
two,
items.
whoever birthday it's not, the two of them decide what Miss Cleo item is.
Maybe you'll get the Keeping It Real book. Who knows? We don't
Who knows what you'll get?
You might just get a VHS tape.
I was about to say infomercial fucking
Miss
tape,
Cleo's
nigga. You might
greatest
just get
hit.
that. Yes, you might. I don't know.
So basically, they said that she got paid $17.50 for that infomercial, $1,750 for that infomercial, and they was paying her basically nothing. She said when the judge and the lawyers and everybody saw how much she was making, they was like, "Bitch, what?"
Why you ain't come get us?
I don't know what they thought or what she's the spokesperson. She doesn't own the shit, and they were acting like she was a fucking queen pin.
She's the planner's peanut of the fucking network. Like she's
definitely. Like she was like Tony Tiger, and they was trying to make her like she was Kellogg's. It was a lie.
She was literally the bitch with the ascot.
Speaking of that, no bullshit. The other day I was in the grocery store and I seen Frosted Flakes, but it was by it was Frosted Flakes with a polar bear by one of them off-brand companies, and I was like, yo, is Tony just the fucking
I know Tony is somewhere stewing, my nigga. He's like, yo, this polar bear.
I saw that. They have a few different ones, the same company, and it's like they change.
Can you call it Frosted Flakes?
Nah, but that's what I'm saying.
They have ones like Fruit Loops too, and it's not Kellogg's, but it's like it's not a bird.
But is it called Fruit Loops?
Nah, see, look, the ones you talking about, they call it like fruit rings.
Frosted Flicks,
right? No, that's what I was tripping. This shit, because I'm at Aldi's. I'm going down the aisle and shit, and I see Honey Nut Cheerios. Then I see Honey Nut Rings, and I was like, oh, that's a different item. And so I realized what section I had walked into, right? So I go back looking for the fucking I be eating the great grains and shit in the Raisin Bran, and so I go back. And I see Frosted Flakes. I hate Frosted Flakes. Always hated them as a kid. Everything.
I do.
And I looked and I was like,
"Come on, Fruit Circles."
Hey, look. You said, "Come on, Fruit Circles." All I saw was me standing next to Steve, and that sent somebody in about Fruit Circle. You like, come on, Fruit Circle. What's up there?
I cannot.
But no, Frosted Flakes. Yeah, I seen that shit with a polar bear and a lightning bolt, and I was like, "The fuck's going on there?" What
does a polar bear and lightning have to do with each other?
Oh my god!
What does Tony the Tiger have to do with goddamn cereal? But we
because he be, I don't know, nigga, he got an ascot on. He be running with kids and kicking some soccer balls.
Hey, listen, ascot and ampersand are two words that I love when somebody knows.
Mine's ugly.
And they're all A words.
Yes.
Welcome to All Shots Up, goddamn.
Also begins with an A. Yay!
Yay!
Oh, we just out here doing.
Oh my god!
We just out here doing the Lord's work.
Oh my god!
I was using a glass, but fuck that. We're gonna drink off the neck on them.
These white men, Stephen Peter and Peter Stoltz, own PRN, right? So after they done drug Miss Cleo through the mud, they settle out of court, right? They agreed to close down. They cancel half of these consumer debts that weren't really owed. So it's like, I don't even know how you cancel some shit. Like, you can't cancel nothing that didn't nobody owe you in the first motherfucking place.
Never mind, then you ain't gotta pay me.
Never mind, my bad. Like, you didn't cancel it. They didn't owe you no fucking money. Like, that's so dumb. They framed it as canceling. You can't cancel some shit that nobody owe you. Like,
right.
That's little baby. What's his name? The baby when he had that fucking concert and he was trying to give out them tickets at Cheesecake Factory.
Please come.
You can't say you canceled the concert, nigga. The concert got canceled because it's the same thing. Like, you can't cancel some shit that wasn't going to be.
It wasn't happening.
Yeah, it wasn't happening. You didn't cancel it. It just didn't happen.
Y'all coming to Cherie baby shower? Nigga, Cherie not pregnant. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Like, I just can't make it be. So, and then they had to pay like a $5 million fine, but they had made like $1 billion. So it was a slap on the wrist, right? Like, it wasn't even really real money. They got arrested in Missouri. they had a bail hearing and they were back in Florida by dinner. So that's all that happened to
Which
them.
is insane.
They made $1 billion and pretty much got off by canceling some fake debts that weren't owed to them and retiring, basically.
Yo, they made $1 billion. She probably made less than $100 grand.
Yep, they made $1 billion. Yep. They paid $5 million of it in restitution, and then they retired and rode up to the sunset with their other almost $1 billion.
Yep.
Yeah. So after that, Miss Cleo was like in seclusion for like 7 years.
Well, because like we said, they fucking dragged her name through the fucking mud, and then I didn't even know until this documentary that she was acquitted. This whole time, I'm thinking that she went off into obscurity because she clearly lost, and she was fake as fuck, and that was it. But that's not even what happened. Like they acquitted her, and they didn't release nothing to be like, oh, this is all us. Like it was just she got just like thrown away like fucking trash.
And the crazy part is she didn't even get acquitted. She was never even brought to trial. They named her.
Thank you. I'm using the wrong word.
The charges. Like she was never even indicted. The charges were dropped. Like this lady did. Like when those people went to court, like she wasn't even involved at that point.
And then look, think about it again. A time where you know how we came up, where the news was the news. There was no full connection. They bring this woman out. They parade her around when they think they can motherfucking again villainize her and make her the reason, the cause, the wrong. But as soon as she's no longer even considered wrong, they don't come out and tell that part. Like you said, it was the same for me. Once she disappeared, I was again we were children, so same for me. I'm like, damn, she must have did that shit.
Yeah, damn, she was hella lying. Damn, that bitch nigga was not cheating on her.
Right, look, the whole time somebody told me she was from Cleveland, so you know I definitely was like, you're right.
Yeah, so, I thought this whole time that she just had cheated people and stole a bunch of money, had made her $4 million somewhere, and was somewhere big chilling. Like,
yep, they lied to us.
So she kind of gets a second, I guess, a second act in her life after she spends this time in seclusion, where she's just kind of trying to figure her life out. She becomes an LGBTQPIA plus
the Equal Plus Club.
This is in 2006, so at this time it was probably just LGBT. At this time,
that shit was just LGB back then. Shit.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it was just they were just kind of like the basically it was just kind of like the gays, right? Like it was just everything was the gays.
It was just the gays. It was the gays.
It was the gays being like, I mean, if we got to, come on, bitch, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Come on, bitch.
That's when the gays like if you were anything other than heterosexual, that's when the gays was like, bitch, you have to be called gay. You gonna stay right here?
Let's come over here with me.
Why was you gay? So basically she comes out and does a piece in the Advocate. I did not know that I didn't know this had ever happened. But Miss Cleo came out as lesbian because her godson came out as gay, and she was like, well, if he can do it, so can I. Right. So she sits and gives an interview to the Advocate, which is a magazine focusing on LGBTQ community rights and other things, but that's the focus, right? But it's actually a pretty big paper, so it's interesting. I don't think I ever even knew that she gave
that we didn't know that happened.
Right.
Like I did not know any of this happened. So we actually sit with a couple of her former partners who happen to be white women. But
white women.
White women. We meet with Matt Sheridan, who's a former partner. Matt used to be a woman and is now a trans man. I won't use Matt's dead name because it is not important. They do say it briefly in this, but
she says it. Sorry, he says it. And then introduces himself as Matt.
As Matt, formerly Marianne, I guess we'll say.
I'm not even asking this out of ignorance. I'm asking it out of nonsense. That's what it's called, as a dead name.
That is the terminology, depending on who you speak to, but that's generally what I hear it referred to as, because they look at it as a rebirth, right? Like you were born in the wrong body, you transfer to the correct gender or sex, however you want to put that. And so the name that you legally changed from you're no longer that person or that name.
Okay. I just I never heard. I just wanted to know. That's what's up. Okay.
Old person's dead, old name's dead. So
word.
So yeah, no, I'm sure other people call it other things, but that's the way I've heard it referred to.
I'm just as real. I ain't never heard nobody call it nothing. So I just was like, that's why I'm doing it. Like, okay.
I mean, the trans man formerly known as, however you want to put it,
right.
The blueprint.
Right.
So they also said that they were trying to like give her a reality TV dating show when she came out,
which would have been insane.
Lit. She would have been like Flavor Flav, but like attractive.
What if they would have gave her like
we wouldn't have like diverted our eyes so hard. Like,
what if they would have gave her the bus like they did on MTV? Remember the bus, that dating show? What was it called?
Oh, Next.
Yeah.
But it would like been Miss Cleo like set up with like tarot cards like at a table, and then when they came off the bus, she was like, "Oh, see, I'm getting the death card from you next."
Right. Yeah. Niggas would have just came on there, mystified and shit. Miss Cleo, I'm already. No,
I'm ready to receive what you have, Miss Cleo. You get back on the bus next, not you.
Not you.
All right.
Those are my favorite when they used to like cancel niggas before they got off the steps.
As soon as the nigga stepped up the steps and turned that corner like, bing, nope.
Next.
And they always play that music that wah wah. I'm like, damn, bro.
Or when the one time when the bitch fell down the stairs and then the dude let her come up to him and he was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm fine, thanks." And he was like, "Okay, next."
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Dudes would be on there with Django jeans and K-Swiss and shit.
Look, next was a wild time.
That's our co-host.
So many.
That's our other co-host.
She's doing the paw again. This is her fault. But she looking at you too, like, "Hey, where is that?"
Right.
Girl? Okay. Ask not it is.
I know you see me.
She has on her tank top today. You're very pretty.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
You're very pretty. Yes, ma'am. You're very pretty. Okay, thank you. So pretty. Go sit down. Get down. You're very pretty. Get down. Yes, I love you.
So here's my question, you guys.
Go.
So we know that legally, right, Miss Cleo didn't get in trouble.
Right.
But I'm asking you morally, right? Does Miss Cleo carry any of the blame for the things that this network has caused?
No. In my opinion, no.
Okay.
There's a reason.
Okay, I'm listening.
Not to even just like get all like cliche about shit, but the other day I heard somebody say marriages aren't what they used to be back in the day, and the whole big point that came out of that conversation was back in the day women weren't literally allowed to do shit. So I think as a black woman, when you are now, whatever her past really may have been, at the end of the motherfucking day, even though she really ain't make shit, she got put in a position that a lot of people weren't going to be put in. And it seemed like she was kind of shady too. So let's say she was shady in the beginning in the Seattle days and then switched her life around. For one, that woman did, if you believe in that psychic shit, just according, and again, these were white women, but according to the people that were deep in her life, she actually did, like she told dude that his man be paralyzed and all of that.
Yeah.
Shit. So anytime she got on the phone, she was really doing her, I believe. So I feel like at the end of the day, at this point, you're tied to something. And if we can look at Miss Cleo and say that she's wrong, then every person who's had a moral motherfucking conundrum because they did something at their job that they know that they really didn't want to be attached to, we all got to be held accountable as well. So that's why I don't feel like when it comes to the overall. Now, Miss Cleo was on that bitch like, damn, this is my 10th call today, bitch. Yeah, he cheating. Next. Then you fucked up. But if she pulling a Sylvia Brown, because remember Sylvia Brown told that woman that baby was dead, and then they found her in that house in Cleveland. That woman died thinking her daughter was gone from this earth. That's fucked up. So Miss Cleo's doing some shit like that, then yeah. But in the essence of what we know from the documentary, I can't see her being held accountable for anything.
Okay.
So yeah, I think my answer is similar. I don't think that she has moral accountability, but I think mine is also somewhat on the standpoint of legality as well, right? Like, I don't think she was doing anything horribly fucked up, because again, the reason that the commercial that she did was so popular is because she just said, put the camera on me and have people call, and I'm going to do my thing. In no way did she ever misrepresent her abilities or what she was able to do. Everyone in the documentary said that met her said that they truly felt she had this gift, right? They talked kind of about, which we glossed over some of the stuff about multiple personalities and her having, you know, and her being very much saying that she feels like spirits talk to her, the dead talk to her, and she has a message to deliver, or else they'll be upset with her. But she, whatever she felt or whatever was moving through her or using her, to her, that was very real. So I do not think she set out with any malice or intent to deceive or defraud anybody. So it's really hard for me to say you have some type of moral responsibility when your intent was never to do any harm or do anything that was immoral in the first place, right? Like, I can't.
Yeah.
What did she do?
You're absolutely right.
They paid her to be a spokesperson. And so she stopped taking calls and was a spokesperson. So if we're saying that she's wrong for that, then we have to say that any celebrity that ever endorsed anything is also wrong because I didn't have the same experience. So if I don't lose 60 pounds at Weight Watchers like Ricky Lake did, then Ricky Lake's at fault, right? Or if I take flat tummy tea and my tummy doesn't ever get flat, then every Instagram model is at fault for that. They have some type of moral failing. If Rihanna Fenty don't make my face look like the bomb.com, then it's Rihanna's fault, right? Like,
I like
if my copper fit compression knee brace don't make me throw the ball like Brett Favre, it's Brett Favre, right? But he going to do some other shit. So that's, you know, bad example of moral failing, because he did some other shit, but not
he
that.
did. I was gonna let you get him. Listen,
he is a moral failure.
He's like a moral failure, but not because of copper compression knee pads.
This nigga is the face of moral failure over and over.
But you know what I can't do? Take him to court because I wore a copper sleeve. So
you feel what I'm saying? I'll give you that. Or
like he did not.
Hey, listen, because I'll never do it again. I did it for a certain job because I needed jeans and I didn't give a fuck what kind they were. But Brett
you got Wranglers? Oh, you got some Brett Favre Wranglers?
When I used to be out in the field and like you go into them areas where you know it's gonna be high grass, be like, fuck it. Let me see what Brett Favre talking about. The Wranglers, boy.
I don't know. Whip them out, put them in the cleaners, get the good starch in them so that they stand up. We're gonna get you a pair of cowboy boots. I'm gonna take you out to the trail ride next time you going to the deep south. We finna Zydeco in a goddamn field. Just step around the horses because they be having their horses out there. You scared of horses?
No, hell no.
Okay, great. I am. So protect me from the niggas' horses.
Okay, that's fine. I just know don't all them dumb motherfuckers that don't believe that, don't walk behind them. Listen, it's the truth.
Okay.
Other than that, horses is cool.
Okay, but anyway.
All right. So hold on.
Does the opinion
This is a good question.
If you find a hidden recording of her saying she knew she didn't have a gift and was just scamming this kid a bag.
Well, so here's the thing with that is that she didn't fucking secure no bag, so that would have just been bad.
Well, that would have been.
That would have changed.
Right.
Why was she recording that lie?
I guess he's saying like if you just in the essence of would she be morally wrong whether she got the bag or not? If you just knew that's what her goal was like, yeah, fuck that. I'm about to fake the shit out of these people.
I'm about to lie about being a psycho. Then yeah, you're morally wrong.
Then she's right.
We would definitely feel. I think I would feel different.
Then it was like fuck Miss Cleo as a staff record label and as a motherfucking crew. You know what I
mean? Get money.
I know y'all seen the reel where the girl was like, get money. Oh
yeah, she was being the background singer. Cause like, oh yeah, when she did that, yeah, that's my face.
Damn, Tupac.
But yeah, I mean, like, if that was the case, and there was hidden recordings of Miss Cleo talking about how she was just trying to get to the money and she didn't give a fuck about nobody, this would be a completely different documentary.
It would.
Like, the documentary is not here set out to prove Miss Cleo to be a fraud, right? I don't think that's the purpose here. If they really thought she was a fraud,
think it was just to understand who the fuck she was, and I still don't think we got an answer.
And I don't even think we got a valid answer to that. We just found out that she wasn't the one fucking defrauding people.
I mean, no.
And unfortunately, it's sad that she's gone now for us to realize that, because I think that there might have been an opportunity for her to actually do some more good with her, you know what I'm saying, with her gift,
Right.
had she not been blackballed and fucking ostracized the way that she was.
Right.
So she dies in 2016.
Right.
So not super long ago, a bit ago, but not very, very long ago.
Yeah.
So she even tries to go to the Bahamas, you know, to kind of her last little trip before she goes. She had cancer, guys. Cancer sucks.
Yeah, and it's so interesting that she actually died of cancer, because remember when she was in at the Langston Hughes place, she was saying that that was the reason why.
Yeah, she had cancer, right? Real shit.
So that's interesting.
Very interesting. Maybe she knew it was coming. They don't ever say that she's getting any type of cancer treatment or anything. So maybe she, you know, the cancer came to be and she just went very quickly, it looks like, from what it can tell, you know, and they're talking about how they just didn't want to see her in that state and they just kind of let her go and she was at peace with it. And it's weird. Like and again, I think some of this is that trope of a mammy. She was 53 when she died.
Right.
I don't think that I realized she wasn't 53 when I was seeing her as a 12-year-old.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. She was right.
She was old as shit to us. Right. That she was
like
really
you couldn't have told me that lady wasn't 60 and I would have been like, yeah, okay. Like you could have said,
okay. Yeah, she's old. Like
I'd have been like, yeah, she's an older black lady. And she was like 40.
She was younger than our
30
mama.
something.
Yeah, 30 something. That's crazy.
Yeah, because she was 53 in 2016. That is insane. She was a child, baby.
She was younger than our mamas back in the day. We're about our mamas' ages.
Yeah, that is crazy. I was telling Chris, I had a rough time with this at the end, and they showed pictures of her Instagram, and she just looked so skinny and gaunt. And I don't think that I even knew she had an Instagram. Or again, like I don't know what I thought happened, but this is not what I thought.
Because she never came back to us. I think that too is kind of a result of how we grew up. Once something got taken off the air for us, again, we grew up without the internet. We know a world. This is why it's easier for us to mind our business. It's easier for us to forget people in the sense of not forgetting them, like fuck them. But when we grew up, certain shit would be snatched away from us, whether in our real lives or definitely on TV, and you just had to deal with the fact. There was nobody to ask questions to. There was nobody to write into. There was no Twitter to search. None of that shit. You just dealt with it. And so I think, and you got to think too, for us, for anything that was in our childhood, it's just like how we be joking about that fucking that weird ass fake Power Rangers show. Shit just happens.
Okay.
There's no excuse.
The tattooed teenagers from Beverly Hills.
Yeah. There's nobody to ask why that shit is what it is. They just snatch it away from us. They just do what they want. And I feel like with Instagram being what it is, it's just the internet being what it is, period. In our minds, she did it. That's why she went away. Nobody ever gave us an answer. We didn't say fuck her. We forgot her because out of sight, out of mind in those days, for sure. There was no looking nobody up. And so I think it would have been crazy if you would have came across a Miss Cleo Instagram before she passed. That niggas would be too. Nigga, did you know Miss Cleo had an Instagram? Because
it would have been a whole thing. She would have been doing live readings and shit. Yeah,
and I would have been here for it because Also, apparently there's a Power Ranger movie. Just so anybody.
Yeah.
Mighty Morphin.
Wait, a new one?
With them old as shit, like just 4 of them.
One of them in jail and the other one dead.
It's Black Rangers.
The Black Rangers. Billy's still alive, right?
Yeah,
Billy looking old as shit.
Old as fuck.
Jason went to jail out here. That nigga was a bartender up the street. This is no lie. This nigga was a bartender.
How were you not going? Was he your bartender? How was Jason not your bartender? How was the Red Ranger not your fucking bartender?
This nigga was a bartender.
Oh my god!
Like in Herndon.
Anyway, it's like 4 of them. Is all I was my point.
It's the original Black Ranger.
It's not going to be. It's not going to like the movie theaters or anything, right?
No,
because remember,
it's just
the original Yellow Ranger did.
Something?
Yeah, the Yellow Ranger did. The
Trini
Red
did?
Ranger.
Yeah,
she died. She died in the car
a long time ago. Trini been dead.
Oh my god!
Like when they first, I think that was the reason they revamped the show so quick.
Jesus.
Yeah, Trini been passed.
Like we know her and shit. That's
I know. We really, black people really was like, I really was like, damn, not my Asian niece.
Hey, look, that's like today. I seen this chick and she was like, everybody hate Chris is so fine. And it made me think about when somebody was like, black people would just name you whatever
Listen,
you're known for.
And that's your name. I literally call this nigga Oh, I loved Everybody Hate Chris on this episode of Abbott Elementary. Yo, Everybody Hates Chris is so fucking weird on Abbott Elementary.
So who the fuck? Me and Ash was fucking, and I was like, yo, you saw when Everybody Hate Chris was looking at Quincy like that?
That's just his name.
Yeah.
Fucking Genuine song is called "My Whole Life Has Changed," and that's just what it is.
That is it. Does anybody? What is the name of that song for real?
Differences.
There you go. Okay.
My whole life has changed.
My whole life has changed. Yeah.
But did he even say differences? You made a difference in my life.
You made a difference in my life. Yeah.
My whole life has changed. You are that really, really special one.
So
okay, that's so. Anyway, are we done or do you want to talk about Luann?
Huh?
I mean, Luann, her partner.
Oh, the last partner.
It's another white lady, y'all. She met her at a cafe, and listen, she seems very nice. They were together. She said she doesn't even know what happened. She just said Miss Cleo started going out more, wearing less. And
does she know where her hotline bling?
That just sound like a Payless commercial.
And so then she popped back up and was like, "I'm moving out," and that was that. But she's very grateful for the time they spent together, and they were very much in love or something.
Or something.
You know, it don't seem like Miss Cleo love these hoes. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Miss Cleo seemed like
Miss Cleo got her.
Miss Cleo lived by the Little Wayne line. I ain't gotta brag. My bitches brag for me.
And they did.
Everybody loved her. Miss Cleo ain't said she loved nobody. So hey.
Listen, it's a whole fucking documentary of white people bragging on her.
Facts.
She didn't have to say nothing. So that's fair. To the white people that loved her, they loved her very deeply.
Yep.
And that's that, Miss Cleo.
That's it.
Who's actually maybe not a scammer.
Right.
Maybe she was a real psychic.
Yeah, maybe she's a real psychic, but also definitely a lesbian, and definitely dead. So
definitely probably not Jamaican.
Definitely,
but maybe if you are as Jamaican as you want to be, or whatever that nigga said.
She's Jamaican in
all right.
If you're Jamaican in your heart, then you're Jamaican.
She's as Jamaican as anybody that claims
to be Jamaican.
To be Jamaican and connected to the people of that land.
What does that mean?
It means
so that one summer where I watched Shotas like 3 times a week.
There you go.
Because I knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, was I Jamaican?
Yes. It's like when a nigga told me that when I met my step cousins, only because they cousins got married into the family and they was related to Bone, that it was my cousin.
That Bone was your cousin too. Congratulations. Congratulations.
I love that for you. That's absolutely correct.
Guys, again, you guys can watch Call Me Miss Cleo on HBO Max. It's a pretty good documentary. I think you'll be very surprised at the information that you will find out that you thought you knew, but you didn't really know.
It was really good, guys.
It was. Okay. So in 2 weeks is Super Bowl, so I don't know what we're gonna do about that. So we'll let you guys know.
We might have to see you on Monday.
We might, or I don't know. So we'll figure it out. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate all the feedback tonight. It was great. This is fun. I'm Chris. That's VJ. That's Penrose. This is All Docked Up. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.